Hey guys, how's it going? Eli here, back with another video where today we're going to be having a conversation about the Pokemon Company's extended reprints in regards to overall super ultra modern product. Without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So as always, gotta get it out of the way. We are doing weekly giveaways, 3 winners. All you have to do to enter is like, subscribe, and also comment on each one of the 3 videos, one of each of the 3 videos we post each and every week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday are the videos that we post. You're going to be entered in to win 6 Fusion Strike booster packs. Like I said, we'll have 3 winners. You have 3 opportunities to enter since we post Monday, Wednesday, Friday, allowing you for up to 3 entry spots. Winners, of course, are announced on Mondays, and it's one of these things that as we continue to grow and we hit subscriber milestones, our next being 1,000, then we'll continue to give out more product. But without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So as far as it goes, what do I mean when I'm talking about basically the extended reprints in which the Pokemon Company has kind of talked about? So for those people that don't know, and this is going to be more or less kind of talking a little bit about a review on a video that Rudy from Alpha Investments made, and then also kind of going in and talking a little bit extensively about that from an investment perspective. And so what do I mean by that? About 12 months ago, I remember actually watching the video when it came out. Rudy had come out and said that there was a group called Millennial Printing Group, and he was saying that there had been rumors, more or less, that the Pokemon Company was working with them specifically. They're kind of like the main printers for Pokemon cards. And like I said before, I want to give all credit to Alpha Investments. Rudy, he's the one who kind of brought this really to light. So it's just something that I wanted to kind of discuss. But going back to it, basically he had kind of brought up that the Pokemon Company had announced that they wanted to work with Millennial Printing Group, and basically their whole thing was they wanted to double the overall printing capacity. In his video, this is something that he had stated that he wanted it to happen within the span of about 12 months was kind of the expectation. One of the things that was very interesting, you can take everything you will as a grain of salt when it comes to basically what he talked about in his most recent video. But basically some of his Patreon members had sent him screenshots, links, and you can also check out his video as well. It's his one of his most recent videos he posted on Alpha Investments, his YouTube channel. But basically, link down in the description below, it sends you to a Glassdoor link, which for those people that don't know what Glassdoor is, it's like a hiring site. And basically in the description, as far as it goes, when it came to working for Millennial Printing Group, they were talking about how when it came to what they were expecting for a lot of the people that they want to hire, that their whole expectation is they're going to be doubling the printing capacity. Now, as far as from what I've interpreted and from what I've heard so far, it looks as if this is something that has come out recently. So in other words, it's at a point now where we're starting to see them really ramp up the overall kind of print runs. Now you can say, and like I said, take everything I say with a grain of salt, everything he says with a grain of salt. You can interpret it how you will. But there's either 2 ways to look at it. Either one, we saw that kind of ramped up capacity, which is why you've seen so much product start to flood on the market and it started to go down, which is why you've seen them really play catch up with sets. Or you can say to yourself that the reason why they've been able to play catch up is because, the next set doesn't come out until February. And so they've had really a lot of time to be able to catch up. And so this is actually going to add on to that. So take it as you will as far as it goes. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a little bit of both. But one thing I will say that kind of has a little bit of implications, and we've talked about this in one of my older videos. But as far as it goes from my distributor, for those who don't know, I posted a video not that long ago basically talking about kind of the manipulation when it comes to the overall market distributors kind of play. So you can take this how you want to. But as far as it goes, I did talk to my distributor in regards to purchasing some Evolving Skies booster boxes because they had it listed on the site for sale. And typically how they like to do it, like I had mentioned before, is they like to keep a lot of their inventory in the back. And typically the purpose of them doing this is so that they can charge higher prices. So as far as it goes right now, I'm basically able to buy Evolving Skies booster boxes on the site for around 90 bucks. One thing I do find even more fascinating as far as it goes when it comes to that is typically speaking, they'll have a limitation. They'll be like, 3 boxes a customer, 6 boxes a customer, however many it is, because basically they're usually only allowed to, or not allowed to sell, but they usually only have a certain amount. But as far as it goes, about 2 to 3 weeks ago, they came out and said you're going to have a 4 case limit. I bought all 4 cases. The upcoming week, 4-case limit, bought all cases. And then this week, there is no longer a limitation. And I called my distributor and I asked my sales rep, I said, hey, so as far as it goes, is there a limitation on the Evolving Skies booster boxes? And they're like, nope. And I said, so how much do you guys have left? And he's like, oh, we have a ton. And I'm like, really? You guys have a ton? And he's like, oh yeah, we have so much of it. And I'm like, that's kind of suspicious, especially considering the fact of the matter that Evolving Skies was one of those sets that was super duper popular. And so it was heavily allocated when it first came out. So it really makes me wonder, as far as it goes, are the printing groups, or sorry, should I say millennial printing group, have they really started to ramp up capacity? And we've seen a lot of these crashing points when it comes to overall prices, but also at the same exact time, we haven't really seen the full effect because a lot of distributors, specifically the one I'm referring to, has really started to hold back a lot on the product. Take it as you will, especially considering now you're able to buy the product from my distributors at $90, but once again, you're buying it at $90 instead of $86, some places $82. So it's like you're not being able to buy it at these lower prices, especially considering the fact that Evolving Skies booster boxes, I mean, we can take a look right now and see they're going for about $109. I think some places are selling them for as cheap as $105. I know myself on our website, we sell a case's worth for about $105 a box and then $110 individually. So, you know, when it overall comes down to it, the booster boxes in and of themselves are still, from what my distributor has told me, very much so accessible. And it's very interesting because I even talked about this too in my last video when I told you guys about my allocations for the upcoming set. I got my allocations from my booster boxes cut. So you would have to ask yourself, okay, if this is something that is true in regards to overall allocations, you would assume that this printer, you know, kind of double capacity rumor, kind of like I had mentioned before, what Rudy's talked about, that wouldn't have played effect because it wouldn't be so minimally allocated. But one thing, and this is kind of something that we can talk about in the future when the set officially comes out, but I have a weird suspicion or a weird hunch that basically my distributor, and you know, like I said, we can, you know, come back to this video and kind of look if I was right or wrong. But I have a weird suspicion that the reason why my allocations got cut is because, like I had said before, they had to drop their overall booster box prices because the demand for them at $90 was not there. And I think the same thing's happening with Evolving Skies, right? So they dropped their Brilliant Stars booster box prices to $86. What are the odds that they purposely cut the allocations so that when the set officially comes out, they're going to have open order sales at $90? So basically, if you don't know what I mean by when I say open order sales, basically you have your initial kind of order that you can get that they say this is how much you're allocated. And then once the set's been released, if they have any extra product that they want to sell you, they're going to have it up on open order. Sometimes they'll make it so that you have a limited amount that you have an open order. Sometimes they have it to where you basically are able to order as much as you like, but it's at a certain price. And that is a price that they've determined when it comes to the online, open order catalog book. So it wouldn't surprise me, to say the least, if that were to happen where I bought them at $86, my allocated amount, and then several weeks after the official release, I basically was able to open order buy them for about $90 plus, because that just makes sense because it's, you know, in my personal opinion, if they are going to go this route, a scummy way of kind of going around it. Now, obviously, this is all very speculative as far as it goes into the fact of the matter of if this is something that they're doing. But it really does bring a lot of questions to light when you ask yourself if all of this information is true. Is there a little bit more behind the scenes that we don't really know about? Is the market being truly regulated by the distributors? And I don't even know if regulated is the right word, but I should say controlled. So it's kind of a more controlled downturn. Is it one of these things where basically, as far as it goes, they're basically trying to make as much margin as they can with the overall increase of inflation? Because I've got to assume that prices have probably increased for them. So this is kind of their way of, oh, we'll give you it at $86, but we're only going to give you X amount before you have to pay $90. Or is it one of these things as well where, as they like to say nowadays, printer machine go burr, and we basically are just kind of seeing an overall flood of product that's going to be coming onto the market relatively soon. And it's funny to say that because, in all honesty, we've already seen such a huge flood when it comes to the overall ultra modern products, with Evolving Skies, Vivid Voltage, Chilling Reign, Fusion Strike, and Darkness Ablaze. Now, of course, we've also talked about it as well, very speculatively, that basically we have said the expectation coming into next year is that we're going to be getting a reprint for Base Set and Rebel Clash, more or less, because they are competitively viable sets. There are a couple of cards in there that are worth several dollars, including the Sobble, which is a very much so popular competitive card that's going, it's a common card or an uncommon card. It's going for about $4.50. A couple other cards in those sets that are going for quite a bit of money. So it makes you kind of wonder if the Pokemon Company is going to do something with that, because they are known for printing to demand, especially when it comes to a lot of their popular sets or competitively viable sets. We obviously saw that go on with Roaring Skies back in the day, with the overall Shaming card being a little too expensive, and the booster boxes at the time being a little too expensive. So with that being said, it'll be very interesting to see going forward with that. However, one thing I do want to kind of talk about, and this is on topic, but also it's more or less a little bit of a side topic in regards to overall investing, and this is just kind of something that I've really wanted to address. A lot of people I've been hearing, whether it be from social media, whether I hear it from comments, or just from people asking me questions in general, there have been a lot of emotions when it comes to the overall investability when it comes to modern cards, modern, booster boxes, sealed product, etc., etc. I hear a lot of the times people say that basically, it's going to be printed in the ground, and so it's something that is not going to be investable. It's something that is never going to see a ton of value long term, because you're starting to see so much more print. And of course, with this news being brought to light, it would kind of, bring up another argument for that if this is true. Of course, I want to give a counter argument to that, and I want to kind of talk about the overall emotions of the market. And this is something that is very true when it comes to investing in general, especially when it comes to the psychology of the investor. And this is more or less the just concept of FOMO. So FOMO, for people who don't know, pretty popular term, fear of missing out. It's just an emotionally driven feeling, basically, of, oh, I'm going to miss out if I don't get in now. And so because of that, a lot of people drive, or I should say make financial decisions based on their emotional drive. And that's something that is very unhealthy to do, because you should be very rational when it comes to overall investing. One thing that I've seen a lot from time and time again, especially in the crypto market, as someone who's been in the crypto market for a very long time, I remember when the price of Bitcoin was at $20,000 back in 2017, people were saying that this is it. This is the last time to ever be able to get in. Crypto is too expensive. Bitcoin is at $20,000. You missed the boat. You missed your opportunity to make money in crypto. It's over. And basically, it was one of these things where there was so much sentiment going around over the fact of the matter that it's too late. We missed the boat. Get out now while you can if you did make any money. That was a very, of course, emotionally driven sentiment, and it was more or less of people that were kind of FOMOing in, saying that this is it, we're only going to go up from here, or people saying that, oh, we missed the boat, it's too late. Now, of course, the price of Bitcoin ultimately, eventually, shortly after, topped out at about $20,000, and then it crashed all the way down to a low of around $3,000, which, of course, at that time when it hit $3,000, everyone was saying, now's the time to get out, now's the time to sell, get out while you can, it's going to zero. So as far as it goes, at the end of the day, you had the emotions when it was going to the moon, $20,000, you missed your chance, no point of getting in. When it was going to $3,000, if you did get in, you need to sell now because it's going to zero. It was both sides basically stirring up emotion, stirring up fear in regards to overall opportunity when it came to investing in crypto. Of course, if you did decide to get in at $3,000, or if you decided to invest in any of these other altcoins when the prices were low, you of course made a killing because the price of Bitcoin hit $69,000 at its high. So of course, when correlating this to Pokemon, a lot of people have really been saying, okay, Pokemon card prices, they're very, unrealistic. They're very expensive. You're never going to be able to get in and invest as far as it goes in a lot of the older stuff. And then, of course, a lot of the newer stuff, they're saying that, oh, it's not worth investing in it because it's so much supply. And it's funny, too, because if that's such a true statement, like, we can obviously make the argument that at the very beginning that there was a lot more of a limited supply, but when Vivid Voltage went through its fourth reprint, afterwards it went up to $160, and of course it had another reprint. Now it went to as low as $100, but as far as it goes, it literally took maybe 3 to 4 months for it to do a turnaround and go up another $40. So it's once again just people who are very emotional, not really understanding, and more or less they make excuses for themselves, because a lot of the time people don't like to basically make financially rational decisions. And so for that reason, when it comes to their overall investment tactics, they're very so scared, so they always try to rationalize. They always try to blame someone else rather than themselves for why they missed out on that opportunity, or basically why they decided to put overall too much risk and jump in at the wrong time, or just once again, of course, rationalize to themselves why they should just stay away in general, because it's one of these things where people are going to be emotional at the end of the day. So, and there's always going to be an ever so growing demand, and so just because the demand was lower back in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, and then the demand was higher in 2016 and now higher in 2020, you see like an overall growth when it comes to demand, and demand's going to increase and supply for sealed product is going to decrease. So it's one of these things where it's like, even though you're saying to yourself, okay, we could see a huge wave of product really being reprinted, or you could say to yourself, as far as it goes, that the product's already been reprinted and the prices are overall crashed, and they're never going to see expensive prices. That's just definitely not a true statement. I mean, even Roaring Skies Evolutions was printed into the ground, so much Evolutions everywhere. There's still Evolutions packs that you can find in some product at Walmart if you're lucky, and booster boxes at its high were going for $1,000 because the demand was there. It's like, guys, you don't really understand that these people that are making these arguments when it comes to, oh, you could never invest in it, these people don't know what they're talking about, and they're just making decisions based off of emotions. And they're saying things coming out of their ass because, of course, they're being emotional, and they're never going to take that risk, whether it be saying to themselves, okay, it's oversold, it's time to wait, or okay, it's now the opportunity. Because of course, as Warren Buffett said, be greedy when others are fearful, and be fearful when others are greedy. Because times like this, when you see these reprints, this is going to be the time when basically you come in, you buy that sealed product, and you're able to walk away an absolute champ in the next 5 to 10 years. And then once those prices for this sealed product and an Evolving Skies booster box goes up to $200, $300, $400, however high it goes, and then it's deemed quote unquote too expensive, and it's too late to be able to invest in it, you're going to be laughing all the way as you're selling at the top and then waiting for the next set, whichever it is that you're going to be offloading, or if the prices of Evolving Skies goes down in the next 3 to 4 years after it goes up, then you can try and buy in some more of it at a lower price. So as far as it goes, with that being said, you really have to be able to consider these things when it comes to your overall future investments, because this is something that is very important when looking at the overall future when it comes to the Pokemon market, especially from an investment perspective. Obviously it'll be interesting to see as well how this is going to really lay waste into the overall market the next year. But we'll kind of have this, once again, historical data to be able to go back and kind of take a look and say to ourselves, okay, was this something that truly played an effect on the overall market when it came to the future prices? And more importantly, I think the question that I like a lot of people to really ask themselves as well is, when is the best time to buy this product if we're talking about these massive reprints? And that might sound like a rhetorical question, and it kind of is, and that really just comes down to the fact of the matter that, as I've mentioned before, you really want to wait for those rotational sets. You don't want to get too FOMO'd in when it's in reprint range. Of course, there is always a possibility Pokemon could go back and reprint stuff in the Sun and Moon era. It's less likely that they're going to be doing that kind of stuff, but of course, speculatively speaking, it's always open for them to do it. They can do whatever they want. But as far as it goes, when we're talking specifically about the competitive format in the Sword and Shield era, never ever FOMO in, especially when you're trying to invest long term, because you want to get yourself a better dollar cost average. And so, like I said before, we're going to come back and look and say to ourselves, okay, were we right? Was there going to be a reprint for Rebel Clash? Was there going to be a reprint for Sword and Shield? And if there is or isn't, then we'll really be able to kind of come back and determine from there. But like I said, just kind of wrapping up the points of this video, Pokemon Company, you know, trying to really print a capacity. The millennial group, as far as it goes, is going to help try to double the capacity, whether or not it's already happened or whether or not it's going to lay waste. Regardless of the fact of the matter, prices are cheap, and I should expect that you look at this as an opportunity in the overall market, either now or even in the future if prices do stay low. And we'll kind of go from there to see how it is in the market. And don't let the emotions that you hear from other people or internally kind of drive you away from missing these opportunities, because the most money is going to be made in these cycles where you're seeing a lot of prices start to go down. And I mean, guys, look at Celebrations Ultra Premium Collection. We can even take a look quickly right here before we finish up this video, and we can say, okay, I don't know why this is showing. Wow, that's kind of a scam. Look at that, 260 bucks. That is such a scam, how it says 260 bucks and it just updated. Am I crazy? Did anyone else see that? It said 203 and it just updated to 260. Something tells me that it just recently sold for 203 and that it just changed. Oh, wow. Look at that, guys. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. There was a large amount that just sold for $200. So that's something to be on the lookout as far as it goes, because Ultra Premium Collection prices are definitely starting to go down. That's for sure. So, of course, it looks like the demand is there for around that price point. So it'll probably get bought up fast like we saw, literally in front of our eyes. But be on the lookout for that, is there are opportunities as the market does continue to go down. But as far as it goes, that is all I have for today's video. As always, we are doing weekly giveaways, 3 winners. You can enter in 3 times. All you have to do to enter is subscribe, like, and comment down below on any of the 3 videos we post each and every week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Each winner will be given 6 Fusion Strike packs that will be awarded on Monday when we announce the official winners. And as like I mentioned before, you get up to 3 entries. Comment, like on each one of the videos allows you to have your name potentially chosen multiple times. So, but thank you guys all so much for watching. As always, I can't thank you guys enough for your support of the channel and everything you do for me. Hopefully this content finds you well. And as you know, if you have any questions or kind of any thoughts about this on what you think the future is, or whether you think this is really a lot of relevant information when it comes to the overall, you know, printing future of the Pokemon Company, let me know and let's have a conversation about it. But until then, I will see you guys on Friday. Peace.